right, welcome everybody. It is another Monday. What is modular integration and how does one maximize prefab construction throughout the project's lifestyle? You heard it before, early decision making and collaboration across all stakeholders puts you on the path to success with prefab. But how about taking it one step further and include furniture, fixtures, and equipment to make it a real turnkey solution for hospitality, multifamily, healthcare, and more? Please welcome today Susie Hall, CEO of the Cornerstone Collective, and learn how they are solving the gaps, inconsistencies, misinformation, and segmented efforts that currently exist in modular offsite through their integration solutions, including design and procurement. But first, we're not able to deliver any of these informative conversations without our sponsors like Stream Logistics, CombiLift, and Brave Control Systems. So a big shout out to Carson Holmquist at Stream Logistics and his team. They are experts in high stakes freight, and they are the perfect choice for projects with timelines and specific delivery sequences, shipments with high complexity and unique constraints. The new methods of construction need new transportation solutions, and they are up for the challenge. Learn more at streamlogistics.com. Also, a big thank you to CombiLift, Paul Short, and the team at CombiLift, the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers. They are an acknowledged leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization services. CombiLift is dedicated to helping companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. Learn more at combilift.com. And our favorite new sponsor, Brave Control Solutions, where offsite manufacturing systems that do more than improve productivity. They have a unique approach to industrialized construction, a lineup of flexible automation systems specifically designed for the construction industry, empowered by CAD to Fab and turnkey solutions for 3D volumetric, structural insulated panels, finished wall assemblies, MEP component processing, assembling, kitting, and storage. Go to thinkbrave.com to learn more. All right, we got a lot to cover today. We got presentations to go through, and we have one exciting guest waiting in the wings. So let's bring her on right now. Susie Hall, thank you for joining us on Dave Cooper Live. How are you?
I'm great, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. So super excited about everything you guys are doing. You're looking at our industry as an outsider who came into it, and we're going to get into all that. And you said, wow, we need some different approaches on how we handle this to make it affordable, effective, and smart, right? So before we get into that, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will call your mother. And that could get quite embarrassing, but you only have 2 minutes to do it. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I was born in Minnesota, so Midwestern girl, and I grew up the daughter of major college football coach. My dad coached Nick Saban at Kent State University. That was a fabulous way to grow up. So we moved to Colorado when I was 4. My brother was born there. Moved to Ohio. That's when my dad was working at Kent State. And then he got the big call with Don James to go to the University of Washington. So I mainly grew up in Seattle. Went to the University of Puget Sound. I was a business major, communications minor, and moved to Boise in 1990. My career started in the office furniture industry. Love the logistical, tactical side, left brain side of putting things together, but like the creative side as well of designing and finishing so that you had a really unified and beautiful whole. Since my start of my 2 companies in 1992, we're celebrating 30 years in business for interior design and procurement. And then about 2 years ago, I brought a partner in, Jean Lim, to help me create the collective. So we have the Cornerstone Collective now. That's really a focus area where we bring project teams together, and we're getting into development as well, utilizing the modular and offsite solution. Very, very excited to talk more about that and appreciate you having me.
So this is super exciting, right? Because you come from a family history where a team approach and collaboration were kind of born probably and bred into your blood. I mean, think about that, right? So just listening to your dad and what he has done, my guess is growing up around that played a big role on how you think and how you approach things moving forward. Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. Yep, I've been on the field at the Orange Bowl, was exposed, helped him to practice his signals, calling him in from the sidelines. So I was in the trenches learning about how important it is for a team to work together well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, listen, everybody. If you are just joining us, we have Susie Hall, founder and CEO of the Cornerstone Collective, and we are also giving away a book today. All you have to do is comment in the section, say hello, tell us where you're from. We want to hear from you. Where are you joining today? And make sure you hit that like and share button because we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. So get your tweets on. And if you're not following the Cornerstone Collective, you're wrong. If you're not following Susie Hall, you're wrong. And if you don't comment to win this book, you're wrong. Susie, tell us about the book we're giving away.
Yeah, so it's right here. My dad, got a little reflection there, but it's called Coach 'em Up, the Skip Hall Story. You can get it on Amazon. How the power of influence and encouragement changes lives. So it goes through his entire coaching career and the power of personal relationships and coaching them up, not down. And a lot of good stuff in there. And there's a section at the end for business leadership.
So a lot of lessons learned from somebody that made it to the highest level in collegiate sports. I love that. Perfect. All right, let's get into this. Leadership and collaboration. How important is it to you and your team for what you're doing?
Very important. One of the things we always start with is what is the vision? What's the goal of a project or an endeavor? And it's amazing how many times that step gets missed or it doesn't get shared with the entire team as a whole. So we take that very seriously. And then leadership, having somebody to be the head coach, be the quarterback. Again, I just relate a lot to the college football arena because you need somebody who's in charge. At the end of the day, the buck stops here. I think in the industry, both in modular and traditional construction, a lot of people assume that it's going to be the architect. It might be, but unless that is really clear at the beginning of a project and it's part of the architect's scope, then the project goes really well. But if it's not, which happens quite often, then things get missed. And then those gaps are created that we'll talk about in a little while. So having strong leadership to me really sets projects up well for success.
Yeah, I mean, strong leadership and collaboration, and we'll get into the ownership of that leadership, right? Or the ownership project is a big deal. So, when you looked at our industry, and we're going to get into the why modular in just a few moments and why you took this approach, but, you looked at it from the outside in saying we need to design more value into this process. So walk us through what that means exactly.
Sure. So I am an entrepreneur at heart. So I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, actually. So when I see innovative things or industries ripe for innovation, that resonates with me. In the mid 2000s, it was when LEED came on the scene, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, where we are early adopters. When I was exposed to that first modular factory tour at Gurdon here in Boise, Idaho, it was like my eyes just were, opened, and early adopter. I could see the efficiencies, I could see the opportunity, and could see how it could integrate so well into traditional design and construction and give a faster route and a better route.
Yeah, towards moving it forward. So what's going on with Idaho? I mean, you got Autoball. I mean, there's so many great things. You got Tamarack Grove Engineering out there that's real big into the offsite space. Is it something in the water?
There must be. I call it the modular mecca.
It's becoming, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Not only just the mecca, but with technology, you have the first fully automated robotic house building manufacturing facility and everything else down the road there. So super, super cool. All right, so we're going to get into some presentations as well when we talk about this. But before we do that, why modular, Susie? I mean, like where? I look at your background, and I see everything you're doing. Where was that aha moment? What made you say we have to focus on this?
Sure. So a lot of my background, I spent working on LEED projects, as I mentioned before, and I was the LEED project administrator, including our most recent physical building. And learning about integrated design, the importance of getting everyone around the table early, setting those goals, setting that vision, and then everyone performing their role with that in mind. Instead of, maybe an engineer just saying, oh, this is my scope of work, I've got to draw this up and get it out by this date. When people get a sense of what the vision is and the value and the contribution that they're giving to a project, it elevates, it raises the collective consciousness of that team and of everybody involved. And so my aha moment was couched in my experience with LEAD and having been through, 20 successful LEAD projects. And when I saw, again, that aha moment for me, I saw the opportunity that modular and the offsite solution could bring into, certain projects. It's not right for every single project, but especially hospitality and multifamily, which are the areas that we focus in, makes so much sense because it's more efficient, it's faster, and projects get open sooner.
I mean, that's it, right? When you're going for LEED certification or any of the other, aspects of passive house, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, it's a lot of work finding all those, bits and pieces and points to build more sustainably, be greener in the process, and energy saving. And modular lends itself to that. I hate to use the cliche right out of the box, right? So literally, you're already gaining some of what you need to achieve those certifications. Yeah.
Right. And then taking it a step further, as you mentioned earlier, getting the furniture and the fixtures and the equipment, even down to, I've had a conversation with the modular factory about, wouldn't it be great if the toilet paper were actually hanging on the toilet paper holder and you ship it? Having that all integrated and included so there aren't unknowns and variables. I've seen projects get thrown, the schedule gets thrown, the pricing gets thrown, the budget gets thrown if there's a small detail that's not thought about, like the window covering depth or the valance. Small things that you start really wide at the top of the funnel and you get down. It's really important that right before it gets out, you've got to get all those details managed and integrated.
Sure. Well, I mean, but even with the design of that, whether you're in the hospitality space, right, it's about speed, it's about heads on beds, so to speak. And with that said, you can literally design these multi-family or hospitality type buildings, with the chase and the standpipes and in certain locations. So those doors could actually, those rooms can be completely done. The doors locked and nobody even has to go in them. They're set and ready to have a guest join them.
Yep, exactly.
That's what I think is super cool about this. So we got a couple slide decks, Susie, why don't you tell me when you want to jump into either one of those as we go through this process? But what I want to set the stage is, before we get into these presentations, is you're looking at all that. You're saying, all right, well, we can have the toilet paper on the toilet paper holder, right? We can have the sheets on the bed and everything protected and what have you for shipment. But who owns it? Who designs it? Who makes sure the manufacturing's done properly? Who makes sure the design's done properly, exterior and interior? And then who makes sure all those little fixtures and parts and pieces, such as beds, bed frames, you name it, pictures on the walls, mirrors, TVs hung, who makes sure all that's done? And then when it's delivered to the site, who makes sure it's all being implemented properly, protected, and done the right way? And this is something that you guys have sat back and said, yes, we got a solution to this, and we're going to do that. We're going to take it from the beginning stages all the way through the delivery to the end user.
Exactly. Yeah? Yep, exactly.
I can't wait.
So part of it is that we speak everyone's language to an extent. And that's what a good head coach does, right? So they speak everyone's language. They're not necessarily an expert in each position or each role, but speaking everyone's language gives us that conversation from the very beginning to the end. So we can go ahead and start that first slide deck and talk about modular integration if it's a good time.
Yeah, let's do it. It's up on the screen. We're all ears and eyes.
Perfect. So at the Advancing Prefab Conference in Phoenix at the end of April, I invited Nick Gomez of Lowney Architecture to join me for this presentation, again, to help demonstrate the importance of that integrated conversation. And this conference, they really like to have long titles. So it's integrating modular synchronicity through a project's lifecycle to maximize the benefits of the prefab solution. So exactly what we were just talking about. And I want to get to the slide that demonstrates what modular integration means. So when you look at these bubbles, these circles, these silos, if we're going vertical, and you look at architecture, landscape architecture, all of the engineering disciplines, you've got the owner developer, you've got the modular factory, the site GC, the MEP, the fire sprinkler, the procurement, the interiors, all of that when I first came on the scene in this industry, I saw all these silos. And again, being a business management major and an entrepreneur, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we can bring teams together to have that integrated design conversation early? And that's part of what it means to get everyone in the conversation early and then integrate that throughout the project's life cycle. Now, it sounds like a great idea. My experience in the design and construction industry for over 30 years is that it rarely happens. The best place I've seen it happen are on these lead projects, especially if they're a gold or platinum project, because that sets the bar high. I'm used to having a high bar because of the way I was raised. So when you're on a football team and you're practicing and you're doing the drills and you're learning it, and then you get to the Rose Bowl, you get to the Orange Bowl, you're playing at the highest level possible. It's not okay for someone to miss a practice. In this case, it's not okay for someone to miss a meeting, because if someone misses a meeting, then that project schedule can get thrown. And if that continues, it kind of unravels the thread, the spool of thread. And owners and developers don't yet, unless they're very seasoned in this industry, understand that. So we see that as our role. We come in and we say, here's the design schedule, here's the production schedule, here's the construction schedule, and we're responsible for keeping that on track. If someone is going to be on vacation, we make sure that, someone from that silo, that team, is going to be present. Because if you miss a conversation, if you miss a meeting, you could miss a really critical juncture on a project. So that's modular integration in a nutshell for us.
Oh, I just want to, this is so important, right? And that is, it's not okay to miss a meeting, and especially with the grades. Jen's putting some stuff in the comments too, and like, it is so important. I have never been, and we got a lot of projects under our belt in modular and offsite through the years. I have never been in a meeting when you have all of the trades, all the stakeholders sitting down, that a problem isn't uncovered. And if one person is missing, that could be the one problem that throws the whole project astray, and now the whole team is paying for it. So I just wanted to really put that into, a reflective mindset for those that are watching this, that it's not okay to miss these meetings. If you're part of the team, then you are part of the team. You need to show up and give 110%.
Yeah, because if you're on a football team and you miss a practice, you're not going to be starting that game on that Saturday.
Right. That's right. That's right. And the stakes are high in this, financially high. This is people's incomes. It's how they pay their kids, or pay their families, right? And put food on the table and put their kids through school. So, it's not a trophy that you're winning here. You're actually playing with people's livelihoods. So you should take it super.
Exactly. And I'll just give Lowney Architecture a shout out here, because we're working on a project with them right now in Crate Modular. Yeah. And Lowney's modular team is very deep. So when one person is out, because it happens, people have vacation and things that come up and what have you, but they make sure that they're covered and that everyone on their team is well versed on what's coming next. What are the next milestones? What's the critical path?
That's right. Couldn't agree more. Love it. So is there more slides on this one, or are we going to pull this one down?
I think we'll pull this one down. Well, let me just go back to the overview.
Okay.
Just a couple of talking points. So evaluating how to plan for basis of design review, permitting, and input from design team members to keep the critical path on track. What does basis of design mean? There's a lot to that. This means going in thinking it's modular, right? And doing that modular feasibility study early on. And using those tools, there's a lot of tools out there, but it's challenging to start a project traditional and then switch to modular. You and I both know that. And then the second bullet, coaching clients through the various challenges that arise. I mean, there's always issues with municipalities, right? So coaching clients to be ready for that and understand it's part of the process. This is a real educational piece and almost a therapy piece that things are going to happen and things are going to go sideways and there's going to be surprises and someone will come into the picture from the municipality that has no clue or no idea what's happening. So we see, again, our role is helping to be present to that and help communicate and facilitate through that. And then the last bullet here, we are all about lessons learned. We're all learning all the time. And the more that we can share that with each other, I think the better for the whole industry. So we take that really seriously at the collective.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to start with the end in mind, and modular offsite construction is no different. If you're going to go to an architect, design something, and then expect it to be converted into modular and be a smooth process, you're wrong. It's not happening. Been down this road too many times with too many clients and people. So, you know, the question I have, Susie, is how do you convey that message up front to your client? How do you convey that when they say, "But Susie, we have this architect. He's so good, or she's so good. We've been using them for years, but no, they haven't done modular, but they can do it." What do you say to them? That's what happens.
Yeah, it totally is. So then I asked them if they were to have a broken arm, would they want to see, an ENT doctor?
Right. They could still put a cast on because they did it in med school.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just kind of a mindset shift of who do you want working on your project? And if
Right.
you want to pay for the learning curve, or you're ready to, why would you do modular and you want that speed to market and that quality and the efficiency? And again, why would you want the third string on the team, on the project team instead of the first string?
Right. Very, 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 very true. So talk to us a little bit about some of the projects you guys are currently working on. Is there some lessons learned on some of these projects you're working on?
Yeah, so if we can go to that second deck, I'll bring up some visuals while I'm talking. So capabilities, we have quite a few, and modular approach, understanding that when there's a prototype project or a design, we worked on an AC Marriott with Gurdon. And this is one of the 5 brands that Marriott identified and had designed as a prototype for the guest rooms. So we came onto the project, and there's 142 guest rooms. And I remember sitting in the meeting with the site architect, the modular factory team, and our team. And they were having conversations about ceiling heights. And I'm thinking, well, if this is a prototype project, why are there conversations about ceiling heights? Shouldn't that all be set? So I think, I'm not sure, that potentially this site architect for the site built portion didn't quite understand that, prototype ceiling height for these boxes is X. You can't come in 3 inches higher. And I remember having an hour-long or sitting in an hour-long meeting when they were talking about that. So really understanding what prototype means, and again, going back to the team, do they understand the goal with prototype is you're not changing anything. That's where the owners and the developers really get the value of the offsite construction solution. If we're going to change something, if we're going to, try to change anything outside of the prototype package, it starts to unravel a little bit. So this project, it turned out beautifully. We worked on the guest room portion. So this was prototype, but what's important is that there's still little nuances that come into play with window coverings. The floor lamp that was part of the prototype didn't fit. So that's part of the continuation being integrated throughout the end of the process, having the visit at the factory, making sure everything's going to fit. Lighting, all the electrical connections, as we know, are super, super important.
So that last picture, Susie, you can go back to it real quick. So what we're seeing is exactly how it came from the factory. Yes?
Yes.
Fixtures, the light fixtures, the bed linen, the desk, the chair, the towels. And I'm sure if we saw a picture of the toilet, we'd see the toilet paper. Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Perfect. How it should be.
Yeah. And then Home 2 Suites by Hilton. This is another prototype brand from hospitality. This particular one has been on hold due to the pandemic.
Right.
But what happens is this shows the lobby and kind of the public eating area. So there's that site-built portion, which can be more creative and isn't necessarily a prototype, that's marrying up with prototype hotel room packages, right? But then there's still maybe 2 different or 3 different color schemes on those prototype packages. So that's why it's important to have an interior design professional and a procurement specialist that understand, hey, where are we going to get these colored lighted panels, and how do we make sure that they conform to the brand standards? Oh, what is that flooring pattern going to be that's sustainable, that still flows with the modular prototype side, but we can actually amp up the design a little bit in the site build portion. A few more views of that, and then here's the prototype guest room.
Wow. I'd stay there.
Okay. Oh, you'd stay there. Sorry, I thought you said stay there.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I would stay there. Yeah, no. Good.
And sometimes what happens, another silo that exists in hospitality is that sometimes an architect and or interior design firm is hired to do the public or the public areas, which is more custom. And a separate team is hired to do the guest rooms. Well, how do you think that goes when they're trying to match up and,
Right.
Not playing nice in the sandbox?
Or show up for meetings together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then this is another Marriott brand that's a prototype for Modular, Fairfield. I don't know how active they are right now. I think the pandemic obviously hit things really hard. But we're hopeful that things will come back with their brands. I will say, unfortunately, this particular project reverted back to traditional building. It went about 30 to 40% modular, and then the bids came in about $1 million higher than the owner was expecting. And I think that's another example of how modular and offsite is still fairly new to a lot of people in the industry. And sometimes it's those connections. How's the site-built portion going to connect with the units from the factory?
Well, there is that, right? So if the trades aren't familiar with it, do they charge more because there's a learning curve and they know that, right? If they're obviously doing projects like this, typically they're fairly well skilled in finance and project management, without truly understanding, what the value is that they're getting, how much work they have to do, or how much less work they have to do. I would say more the case. We see this often in the industry where, somebody says, I'm going to try modular, just like you said, they go out to bid and it's coming in $1 million, $500,000, 300,000, whatever, higher. And a lot of time it's because of the misunderstanding of what the true process is for all of the different stakeholders in the project. They haven't done it before. So there's learning curve money sometimes tapped into those, I guess, RFPs or the bids that come back in. And I'm assuming that's kind of probably what happened on this. Am I getting close?
I think so. Yeah. And it's that unknown factor where subs are potentially bidding higher just because they're not quite certain of what the scope is, what those connection points are going to be. I remember when we were doing, again, back in the lead days early on, and we were getting pricing back on paint, and they're saying, oh, yeah, green paint is 30 to 40% more expensive than traditional paint.
Right.
And we were like, no. So I called every paint store in Boise and I got the numbers, and they were like, no, the material cost is the same.
Right.
So I think there's that kind of unknown, that uncertainty factor that's playing into things.
Well, or the new factor, and they want to charge more for it. I mean, there's that side of it as well. I mean, look at big screen TVs. They were $10,000 when they came out, and like 4 years later, you can get them for $2,500.
Right.
So, is there more slides you wanted to show on that?
I don't think so. I think that's a good overview.
So if I were to just flat out say it this way, like Susie, your elevator pitch on this, like, what problem are you solving, right? End to end. I mean, I want to hear it from you. Like, what problem are you solving that, the Marriott and Crate and all these other people want to work with you?
So it goes back to that modular integration slide. So what we're solving is the silos that exist in the communication and the design speed. So speed to market, we know that these factories can produce modules and units as long as they have a really great design package and all the details. But on the front end, the design process also has to be in tune. My exposure in the industry for the last 5 years has been that the design schedule gets delayed. Right. And then that pushes out the entire schedule for the owner developer. So we come in, we quarterback the entire project, as I described earlier, making sure that everyone knows their role, everyone is clear on the vision, what's the schedule, why are they motivated? And that actually improves the design schedule. People are excited for the meetings and they want to talk about, and the owner and developer is like, oh man, this can actually be really exciting and I want to do more modular projects. So we bring that vision, we bring the expertise, we speak everyone's language, and then we're responsible. And I keep doing this because it's a continuum. And if one person drops off, then the whole ship gets, capsized. And so we come in and make sure that doesn't happen.
You're so right. I mean, there's so many good quotes out of it. There's great T-shirts in this. right? T-shirt quotes. But it's a big circle of collaboration, and it takes that entire circle to make a project a success. No single one person or company can get any one of these projects done by themselves. It takes the team. So let's go to a couple comments, see who's out there and see who's tuning in and saying hello. Gregory La, what's happening, Greg? Good to see you today. Glad to have you join us. We got Rain Gomez in the house. He's a lead AP from Phoenix, Arizona. There you go. We got your own type out there. All these.
Yes.
Perfect. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Greg says he's also bringing James Davis Long. Well, welcome, James Davis Long. If you're out there, say hello to us and make sure you like and share. Hit that like button if you enjoy the information we're bringing you today. And also make a comment because we are going to give away a book here real shortly. That's right. We're giving away a book. So all you got to do is comment, tell us where you're from, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. I don't care. You can do whatever you like. But that's what's fun about this show. We have the opportunity to say hello to so many great people. All right, Paul Barretto, greetings from Maryland. What has happened, Paul? Good to see you. Wouldn't be a day without my good buddy, Mark Barenaked Willie from BS Friday Show. Mark's my co-host there. Larry Clay of Clay Construction Inc. coming on 610. Love it. We're going to have a great show, so you guys tune in for that one, 1 p.m. coming up. What else we got here? We got Mitch Lund. Happy Monday from Prefab Logic in Nampa, everybody. Can't wait to hear from Susie today. You know Mitch? Susie, you know Mitch?
We sort of know each other, and we're going to be getting together because he's in a new position there, Prefab Logic. But yes, I know Prefab very well and AutoVault.
I do as well. So that's awesome. You guys will have a great conversation for sure. I can already see the synergy. I can feel it heating up right here online on the Dave Cooper Live. All right, Kimberly Talbot in the house. Ola from Boise, Idaho. Losha Engineering is part of the Cornerstone Collective with Susie. We are hugely honored to be part of the industry with her. Well, we're happy to have you here as well, Kimberly. And thanks for a chance to win Susie's book. It's going to be a lot of fun to give away. All right, what else? Mitch did say collaboration is everything. Ben Hershey, Forward Solutions Group in the house. What's happening, Ben? I just saw Ben in Atlanta a couple of days ago. Susie Hall, thank you for participating in Dave Cooper's show and sharing the importance of collaborative design of modular projects. Hashtag build it better. You got that right, Mr. Ben Hershey. If you guys don't know Ben is a sponsor of our show as well, and they are in this space. Ben, Susie, you all should know each other. Ben works all around the world in manufacturing and helping companies out. In fact, they help them succeed is a better way of saying it. All right, let's keep going on. Oh, no, all the way from France. Henry Mickelberg in the house. If your architect doesn't understand brand standards, be afraid.
I agree.
Henry, your name has come up like twice already today. Good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well. From YouTube, we got James Davis saying hello. James, there you go. I'm glad. Thank you, Greg, for bringing James. We love it. He's in Austin, Texas. Great presentation. Good to see you, my friend. All right. And we also, look at all these people tuning in. All parties involved. Damien, hey, man, all parties involved need to support design freeze to ensure the modular process and the material supply chain runs smooth through from factory site to inclusive of FFE. So
couldn't agree more. And that was a slide in the first deck that we didn't get to. But that design freeze, I remember the first time I heard that term.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you hear in traditional design and construction.
Right.
And so our team was like, what does that mean? And, so the modular factory explained it to us. And you've got to freeze the design. It's like pencils down, no more designing, because there's that point in time that it needs to go forward. And then once projects get on that line, it's a mindset shift for a lot of the owners and developers. They're like, oh, well, maybe I can change the paint color. Or maybe I can change this fabric or this flooring. So that design freeze conversation is part of that early vision that we set.
So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're saying design freeze, what the heck's a design freeze? Because you're so used to your change orders, it costs everybody so much money. Let's break this down real quick. So design freeze, when you get into offsite manufacturing, modular, panelized, whatever the case is basically saying, once we sign off to go to production, we're done. That's where the value, that's where the money is. So you got to think of all of these things beforehand. And that's where the professionals like Susie's team come in to make sure you made all those decisions. Listen, we can send autonomous vehicles to Mars and back with nobody in it. We sure the heck can design and put design freezes in when we go to manufacturing. It's not like
And
a
think about
space
the
shuttle takes off and they say, oh, we forgot the oxygen. We have to go back. That's not how it
right, and
works.
think about the schedule certainty and the
Right.
production for the owner and developers. Like once that goes, boom, there's no change orders.
Right. No different than any other industry that has manufacturing.
Yeah.
Ford doesn't put a car down the line and say, oh, we wanted to put a stripe on that one. Sorry. Doesn't work that way. Anyhow, let me get off my horse here a little bit. All right. Well, listen, I think we're about ready to give away this book. We're right about our time. So looking forward to doing that. Look at that. I got to give my shout out to my boy, Mark. Thank you, Susie Hall and the Cornerstone Collective for presenting today. Good to see you. He looks just like that picture, by the way, except his beard's not purple. He does. He does. Straight out of Duck Dynasty, that guy. All right. Having a little bit of fun. All right, let's put this design, this draw up on the screen. If you want a chance to win, just say hello. Tell us where you're joining from. I don't even care if you say, what's up? We're here. We're going to give away this book, and we're going to have fun doing it. So you guys.
And while we're doing that, can I just give a shout out to the Boise people, the Treasure Valley, the modular mecca that we talked about? I love it. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, who knows? Maybe you get to win the book. You get to talk to them even more. All right, last chance. Put your comment in. We're going to draw it right now. You can announce it when it pops up. And just know, this is so random that sometimes I win my own drawings. We'll just redraw. Or Jennifer will win her own drawing or whatever. So just know that's the way this works. We can't control it. Let's see what happens. Dun, 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 dun. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Kimberly Talbot. Look at that. Awesome. All right, Kimberly, you won the book. So you guys may or may not be connected, but
we are.
Let's show that book one more time. I'm put your full screen. Hold it up. Coach them up. The Skip Hall story. And just in case you're wondering, Skip Hall and Susie Hall are related, just so you know, right? That's awesome. Super excited about that. We love when people come on the show and they have something to give the guests. It's exciting. People get a chance to win something. But more importantly, on this show, you get to learn something. You get to know who the new stakeholders are, who's in the market, who's doing things better, who's building it better. And Susie, you guys are looking at it with fresh eyes from end to end, not just a piece of the puzzle. You're looking to help people walk all the way through the process. So I love that.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having me on. I think the women in this industry are a smaller percentage. Hopefully that's going to continue to increase. Yeah. So really appreciate the opportunity. And sometimes we might bring a little different perspective, which helps round things out too.
I mean, you just like hitting all my stop points. Listen, the bottom line is this. We need more women in this industry. We will go further, faster, no bars. I mean, this is a detailed industry. You want to be in offsite construction. You want to be in modular. It's about the details. And we all know that people like Susie Hall and her team and others out there, my Jennifer as well, are so detail oriented. It's only going to make us all better. And we're going to be able to get to where we need to get to in this country with a better way to build more sustainable product, lowering the carbon footprint, all of those fun things. And how about some affordable housing too? That's where we're heading. And it's going to be lots of fun. So Henry said, pretty sure that the prize winning algorithm is the same that they use in the French book. Never lost for words. Another shout out to, hey, John Frey from Grand Junction, Colorado. Perfect. Hey, listen, I bet if you want that book, you guys should reach out to Susie. I guarantee you she has a link of how you can get that book, but it also gives you a good reason to connect, do business together, talk about what's happening out there. That's what it's all about, is bringing people together. So all of you out there get to meet new people and have new ideas so we can drive the industry forward. Susie, did I leave out anything that you wanted to touch on?
No, I think we hit it all. Thank you so much. This has been great. And just encourage everyone, the collaboration, choosing cooperation and collaboration over competition is what this industry is about. The more that we can share the information and lessons learned, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah, 100%. Susie, you did an amazing job. Thank you for being on the Dave Cooper Live show. We really appreciate you being not only on the show, but you being in the industry and being a leader and a thought leader. I know you speak at all the hospitality conventions and everything else, so you're not a strange face to this industry, and I love that you're an advocate for the modular space and driving this forward. So with that said, everybody, that's a wrap. Make sure you join us Wednesday, 1 p.m., and again on Friday at 1 p.m. We got some great shows coming up for you. We're going to have a lot of fun. And remember, we're heading to England the week of June 18th. We will be in England all week, and we will be coming to you live from England as well as we're visiting a lot of job sites. We're going to show you how the English are doing it. And then in August, we're over in Switzerland on another tour. We're going to show you how they're doing it over there as well. So a lot to come out of all these shows, lots of traveling coming up, and we're going to have more great people just like Susie Hall and her team at Cornerstone Collective. Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate it.
All right, everybody, have an awesome day. Susie, don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after the outro. We'll see you next time. Bye now.